Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Matt and John Make a Podcast. This is episode 62, and you are probably asking yourself, John, why are you looking so weird right now? Well, it turns out after many trials and tribulations, I finally got a freaking pair of glasses that actually work. So, so that's
This is Matt and Jeff Goldblum make a
yeah,
podcast.
yes.
Okay,
I,
maybe not even close to Jeff Goldblum's glasses, but I made that joke.
close enough. But anyways, on this edition of the podcast, we're going to be discussing some more NFL talk. That is a pretty hot topic right now. We're going to be getting into some of the championship series with like Major League Baseball, and there's also some Spider-Man news that we are going to be getting into. But first, Matt, I believe I want to get into some NFL talk here, and probably the most freshest story from that is the story of the New York Jets cutting former Steeler Le'Veon Bell. Who was cut after pretty much a season and a half. Needless to say, his run with um, with the Jets was ungood to put
Un-
it
Did you say ungood or not good?
uh, un, ungood to
I think we're
say
making words here, but
yes.
it
Um,
is. I will let that pass because of the topic.
it sucked. We'll just say that.
Yes.
Like he did not have a single 100-yard game with the Jets. Scored, I believe, only 4 touchdowns. His yards per game, I think, was down almost like almost 50 yards to what he was averaging with the Steelers. It just wasn't a good fit, and you could just tell that between like Bell and also head coach Adam Gase, they just were not on the same page, constantly butting heads, and it didn't help either that like Bell was taking shots, not like not like verbally through like his tweets, but he was like liking posts of fans saying that he should be traded, and that coach Adam Gase and head coach Adam Gase wasn't using him correctly. So it was a freaking a, a, a freaking shit show, and I cannot. I mean, like it's hard not to include with the Steelers here matches because as 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 us as fans, like we went through this whole soap opera through his whole contract situation for what 2 or 3 seasons with the Steelers where I mean like you heard every excuse in the book from the national media calling the Steelers greedy, selfish, I mean just like stupid stuff which I feel they have to be a little bit vindicated here, just based off of what has happened, and the old saying goes, the grass isn't always greener on the other side, and that could not
Even if
be
the
any
team
more.
is green.
And even if the team is on green, that could not be any more true than in this situation. What do you think?
Yeah, it's kind of vindicates the Steelers and adds to the track record of releasing people at the right time.
Absolutely.
See Brown, Antonio,
I'm like a
Bryant, Martavius.
I'm like Mike Wallace.
Yes, Mike Wallace.
I mean,
Uh,
pretty much the only guy who has really had a pretty successful career that I can think of off the top of my head is probably is probably Emmanuel Sanders, who had a pretty
Yeah.
good career in
What about
Denver there.
Burris?
Yeah,
He
yeah,
had a decent
yeah. He was good. I mean, like it's really
before he shot
hard to
himself in
find
the foot.
guys, right? I mean, it's really hard to find guys who left here who had pretty damn good careers. Hell, even a like Joey Porter. I mean, like I think he played like 2 or 3 more seasons where he was okay. I mean, he wasn't like
Yeah.
this all pro or anything, but you
I
could
mean,
just
to a certain extent, maybe Harrison too, but
yeah
he was still decent.
yeah
But
he
he
was
wasn't as
past his
bad.
prime. Yeah, he
Yeah,
was past his prime at that point, so it was more so
you know,
of
it seems that yeah, the Steelers, more times than not, find release or let people go or not resign players at the right time in their careers. I know there's always you could probably look at certain exceptions, but I mean usually the troublemakers, in this case Bell with the contract dispute, they're like, we're not dealing with this. We don't care how good you are. Go go get paid somewhere else.
right.
And he did. And even though the Steelers were offering him more money
Mm-hmm.
through what 5 years was it, something like that, multi-year, turned it down, went to the Jets,
Yeah,
and here we go. And I was just looking at some of his stats just out of curiosity.
it's
Um,
laughable. It's
Yards per. I'm comparing 17 his last season with the
right.
Steelers to
Mm-hmm.
19 is like actual like full year with the Jets. Yards per attempt, rushing yards per attempt, 17, even 4.0 with the Jets, 3.2. Yards per game, rushing yards per game, 86.1 with the Steelers, down to 52.6 with the Jets.
Yeah.
Rushing attempts, 21.4 with the Steelers and 16.3 with the Jets. So, yep, 9 touchdowns in 15 games started with the Steelers, 3 for the Jets. So I can keep going if you want, but it's the same.
Yeah.
Everything was down.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing pretty much beats his 2016 season with, well, slightly less yards than 17, but
Mm-hmm.
yards per game were over 100 back in 16. Highest uh, attempts per game that year. Longest, well, okay, not the longest run. He had a longest run of 44. So like 16 looked pretty good for him. Even 14, I think, could have been best year at 1361 total yards rushing. Longest run was 81 yards. So obviously his prime was back then, but now with the Jets, who knows? I'm not who knows it, not as good. Plus the Jets were just not a real good franchise right
No.
now.
No, and like you could tell that he was just getting more and more angrier, more and more miserable, and
Hmm.
it just like reminds me as like you know, he went from possibly having a Hall of Fame career to now. I mean, like now he's going to be a like role guy now. I mean, like I mean, he is only 28 though, so he's technically still in his prime. But you just got to kind of wonder, you know, with his production, was it the team or has he kind of slipped himself because also we also forget he sat out a full season before signing with the Jets. So like and by the way, him choosing to actually sit out and not take the guaranteed $14.5 million is going to go down as one of the dumbest decisions between him and his agent that they have ever made. Like I I mean, I don't care what your issues are with the team. Turning down, especially at his position, no less. Like it's just a very irresponsible, a very just stupid move to make. Because now, I mean, um, and yeah, he made like what $28 million or something with the Jets, and I think he's we owed I think at least 6 million for for the rest of the season. So hell he got his money with the Jets, but man, like that's going to be one move that I just will never understand. And so now the question is, who is going to sign him? And G, I tell you, as soon as this happened, the Steeler fans immediately just calling for him to come back, completely forgetting how he left, forgetting of how many shots he took at our franchise quarterback, and just all of the antics with him. I mean, like if it were up to me, would I would not sign him. I just don't think
Oh,
he
we have too many running backs as it
right.
is.
Yeah, and that's the first point there. Second point is I just don't think the team is going to want to deal with his attitude and everything. They know they know what they would be getting. And third, it just I think once AB, Martavius, and like Bell left, they had made a conscious effort to put football character above anything else because that I think has been something that has been pretty consistent now for the last 2 seasons now. Like a lot of high character guys in in that locker room because also too Matt, do you recall pretty much his whole offensive line back in what 2018 basically threw him under under a bus calling him selfish and everything. And to me, that only happens if you a said something stupid or just flat out lied to them um,
Yeah.
about the whole holdout. So I think that a lot of those guys have lost a lot of um of um respect for him, and they just don't want to deal with that now. As of now, I think there have been some unconfirmed reports that supposedly Kansas City is going to be picking him up.
Yeah, there's
Um,
Chiefs, and
yeah,
I'm reading either in four other teams: Bears, Raiders, Patriots, and Dolphins.
yeah, and um, yeah, and you're just seeing a whole bunch of coaches were asked to comment on whether they would be interested. I think I saw San Francisco's head coach. He wasn't interested. Philadelphia, they weren't interested. And from all accounts, it doesn't seem that the Steelers are going to be interested either, which I'm fine with. I'm pretty cool with Connor, Benny Snell, and like McFarland. So I think honestly we are fine in that we should just roll with the guys that we
Yeah.
have. But at the same time, too, you can't completely roll it out just because of just of the scheme fit into. I believe there was some reports from last season that supposedly that the Steelers were interested in trading for him, but obviously those were all unconfirmed. So we'll see how all of that transpires there. But we also had some other NFL news in that, and those were two head football coaches were indeed let go within the past week. Obviously talking about like Houston firing their head coach Bill O'Brien, and also with the Atlanta Falcons firing both their head coach and their GM there. And I wasn't really surprised with either of these moves,
No.
especially at Atlanta that they went 0-5, just losing just some really bad games, especially
with
with that down
leads.
leads just being just being lost, and then just inconsistent play on the offense, and that defense has just not gotten any better. So it was pretty clear that both of those guys were on the nice. And as far as Bill O'Brien is concerned, man, this should have happened a long time ago, in my opinion. Like the moment that they agreed to that trade with DeAndre Hopkins, who was the only consistent offensive threat outside of the Sean Watson on that Houston offense. He should have been fired there. They only got a second, I believe, a second or third round pick, or yeah, a second or third round pick for for Hopkins. Like that's just insane to me. How little that they got in return, and that just told me that basically that they just wanted him out of there, which it just says a lot to how Bill O'Brien was just handling players and their relationships. And also, man, it's really bad when JJ Watt is having a shouting match with you. like
Yeah.
that blew me away. What did you think of all of that?
Well, I don't know. I didn't see the shouting match.
Or no, or no, this was like this was like on their practice field, supposedly.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I didn't. Well, I didn't
Yeah.
see the news of that.
Uh, um,
Um,
okay.
but the news of his coaches and GMs getting fired does not shock me. Uh, Obviously, Atlanta. I mean, Jesus. You, like this season is disastrous. Like just that's best I can come up with. Houston, I just felt like they've just always underachieved with that team, especially this year, and the off-season trade does not help.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised, depending on how the season ends. And let me see something real quick before I say it, so I don't sound stupid. But wouldn't be surprised, and a lot of people have said this of Matt Patricia or Trish over in
Oh yeah.
Detroit.
Oh yeah. He should be gone. Adam Gase, I'm still trying to figure out how he still has a job over with the Jets there.
Yeah,
Um,
I would. Yeah, because yeah, Detroit's 1-3, and we know what the
mhm.
Jets are. 0-5.
And I'll say this with the Dallas Cowboys in like McCarthy, up until Dak got hurt, I was like, do not be surprised if this ship keeps on going south, that he might be possibly one and done, because that hasn't exactly has worked out there. But I'm trying to think of any other names.
Mm,
I could possibly see like Jacksonville moving on with from like from from Doug from Doug Marone there in Jacksonville. Let's see.
uh,
And
not I don't know, Zimmer in Minnesota, or is
yeah,
he still in?
I think he should probably be gone at this point. Chicago, I don't think in like Nagy, you can't completely roll him out there. Depending on like how the season goes, but even though currently they are like 4-1 right now, we'll see if that like holds up. But the fact that they are at 4-1, I would say he's probably is safe.
Who's
Because
this again? Who's this again?
um I'm like um Chicago's head coach, Matt Nagy.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
yeah,
Is it for? Yeah.
Yeah,
You're 4-1.
yeah,
You're there's no
no. But I will say though, like
reason to.
it's been very problematic that they still can't find a franchise quarterback. Like they've been searching for what seems like forever.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Chicago's like the impossible 4-1. You look
yeah,
everybody counting them off, and yet
I literally have no idea how they have won every single game. Like they have, like, to say that they have been very fortunate is an understatement. But hey, win is still
it,
win. You know.
hey, 4-1's 4-1.
Mhm.
Why is this?
But I'm talking and I guess we'll get into some of the games from the past week. But definitely Chicago beating Tampa on Thursday Night Football was a little bit shocking. 22 to like 19. Um, Tom Brady. He really struggled. Just couldn't get anything consistent offensively going. And him forgetting how many downs that there were, and that was a little bit embarrassing. Um, and I'll get into the Steelers talk here. A game that I felt, man, was a lot closer than it should have been. Just that secondary of ours was just bad, um, to put it kindly. But at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, too, on the offense, Chase freaking Claypool, my God,
That was his coming out
it's
game.
this. I mean, like, obviously, no one saw this coming, and I knew that this kid was talented and could be the potential to be a really good player for us. But man, just seeing just his physical gifts alone, to me, and someone I forget who said this on Twitter, he is like a Martavius without the baggage, but is just a better football player, just has a better head on his shoulders. And that's exactly how I would describe him as. The guy, just he can freaking fly. He has really good hands. And just him and Ben seem to have some pretty good chemistry right now.
Yeah.
I'm really, I'm really,
And the
oh
good
yeah,
thing out of this is that
mhm,
wasn't as evident this week. But you know if Claypool is getting more looks, more catches, more people are gonna have to cover him, and that's gonna
right.
open up the door for more Juju and everybody
and
else.
and like DJ and
Yeah.
Ebron, and I tell you, like, I'm really excited about this offense. Like, it cannot be understated. And I said this before the season started. Ben is going to be fine. The only thing you heard all of camp was he is sharp. Like, he feels healthy. He looks healthy. That's all that we heard. And this whole freaking narrative that, like, he's washed and stuff. I mean, like, you look at his game to compare it to a like Philip to a like Phil a Philip Rivers, who was clearly washed, who was clearly lost a step. Ben has 10 touchdown passes to one interception. That's it. Like, and I believe that pick came in the in the season opener. So
Yeah.
I believe he's completed 100 passes out of 143 attempts or something. So he's been really efficient as well. The offensive line is protecting him well. I mean, and and they're scoring touchdowns. I mean, hell, like, I believe that the Steelers were like the second or like third worst team in in the red zone last year. So needless to say, them being this good down there is making a huge difference. And I believe that this was the first time that they scored over 30 points, I believe, since 2018 against the Carolina, or yeah, in 2018 against the Carolina Panthers there, um on on that Thursday night football game, which was, that was a sight to see. But I'm very excited about this offense. definitely a little bit concerned about the secondary,
Hmm.
but at the same time too, I think in someone I was watching the other day said this: NFL defensives in the league are just bad, and I think we all just need to kind of accept that. Um, so I'm willing to be a little bit more patient. I would like to see just like some better consistent play from those guys. I mean,
Yeah.
they like still forced two interceptions, which is good. But just giving
The
up,
one was, well, obviously one was a junk
right,
interception, but
right.
still,
But
which
they just need like 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 the one consistent thing that really irritated me was these third and longs and
yeah,
them
that
just
was a problem.
not being able to get off the field like on like third and 12, third and 17, like they're just converting these,
That, yeah,
and it's just it's
that should be a
really frustrating.
punt right there all
Right.
day.
Yes. And I guarantee you, if they get off on half of those downs, this is not even
No, it's not.
a freaking game because to
No,
me, like because like Philadelphia they had no answer for Chase Claypool, and like Ben, I believe he was like 10 for 10 on like third downs or
yeah,
something.
we
So
were equally as impressive on third downs
right,
too,
right. So it's
but
just
I don't. But they weren't as uh, big yards as
right,
Philadelphia did, which
right,
it was the the big thing
right.
that for at least for the defense because obviously people are going to complete passes on you. That's inevitable. People are going to
Happens.
score points, but look at all these games and I was going to probably transition a little bit to like the Las Vegas Kansas City game 40-32, 72 points were scored.
Yeah.
Like
Uh, on
stuff
Kansas
happens.
on Kansas City at home, like
Right.
it's just like that. I
So
couldn't fake.
lots to me like I was still iffy on Las Vegas. They were looking good, but coming into Kansas City, obviously, not a full stadium, but still
No.
to Kansas City, which arguably one of the best teams in the NFL, if not the best team, one can argue, and go in and just duke it out. Derek Carr with Patrick Mahomes throwing 347 yards compared to Mahomes 340, three touchdowns, one interception.
Mm-hmm.
Mahomes 2-1. But the big thing, I don't know if is this for yards. They got to Mahomes three times for
Mm-hmm.
sacks. I think it says for 3 for 7, 3 for 7, I guess. So they got pressure to him, according to this, and they yeah. So that was big. So Las Vegas is very impressive now. I think if you weren't unsure if they were legit for this season, they're legit now.
And I think it's going to be more of a battle too there because as we have seen from Kansas City, they have struggled in their last well outside uh, of the Baltimore game,
Yeah.
like the game against the Chargers and the game against the Patriots, and now with this year they have just they were just scraping by, but like and you're just seeing they're having a little bit of a harder time on defense. So it's going to be interesting to see how how that transpires there, and any loss for them is huge just because if you look at like Buffalo, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, and even Cleveland and
As of now, yeah.
and Tennessee now, like they're all going to be vying for that spot there.
Yeah,
So
as of now, it could be a close, tight battle for in the playoff seeding here in the AFC.
I think it's
So like,
going to be.
yeah, it's one of those every win. Well, obviously every year it's the same thing, but like more so now,
Right.
every win matters because you're jogging for place. The division, especially, just at home here in AFC North with
which
Pittsburgh, even though
which has like which has in my opinion the best NFL division right now. I mean, like how many teams have like 4 wins already? So I mean that's pretty
let me look.
impressive. Yeah,
Yeah, because yeah, AFC East it's 4-1 and then 2-2. AFC North they have 4-0, 4-1, 4-1, and then the Bengals are there too.
yeah.
It's like 3 teams within a game or so. AFC South it's Titans and Colts. 4-0, 3-2. West 4-1, 3-2. Chiefs and the Raiders. We're gonna skip over to NFC East.
Yeah.
NFC North, good Packers and Bears. South, Saints, Tampa Bay and Carolina. That's another close division with each of those teams being 3-2.
which Carolina is the big surprise there because they had a really rough start, but but the last 3 weeks they've been on a pretty good hot streak. So they're obviously
Yeah,
ours.
3-game winning streak. Yep.
So they're looking good. So yeah, with the AFC North, I think that's going to come down to to the very end in this game between the Steelers and Cleveland this week is going to be pretty big and
Yes.
and and for the Steelers for the next 3 weeks they have Cleveland, Tennessee, and Baltimore.
Big. This is the
Right.
proving point right
Right.
here.
If they win, I think 2 out of 3 there. If you are a Steelers fan, I'd be feeling pretty damn good right there.
I would rather obviously win
All
the
three.
division games.
Yeah.
Well, if you're gonna do 2 out of 3,
Yeah.
the Cleveland
Cleveland
and Ravens game.
and Baltimore. Yeah.
Um,
Tennessee
yeah,
would just be like more like seeding at that point.
yeah,
Yeah.
which is important in for
Right.
if there's tie, if you do conference.
Right.
But if somehow they go 3-0 over this stretch,
If
that's
they
impressive.
if they end this thing as 7-0, which would be, I gotta think that's gotta be the best start in franchise history if that's the case. Yeah, I mean, and then after that, because I believe after that, outside of their games against Baltimore, Buffalo, and Cleveland again, there is a lot of winnable games on
They play,
on this
I think,
schedule.
Washington. I think the Cowboys.
Yep. Cowboys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just looking week by week. So I'm
Yeah, because who do we play
nice
from? Do we play do we play Oakland or do we play the Chargers?
I think it's the Chargers. I don't think it's
Yeah.
Oakland.
Okay. Yeah. So we play the Chargers, which I believe that is also at home there. So yeah, like it's going to be very interesting how that all transpires. So we'll be looking at that. Just looking at some other games here, Matt. Texans finally get fi- finally have a like win there. San Francisco just getting annihilated by the Dolphins was something that I did not expect, especially with San Francisco being at home on top of that 43-17. Like, yikes. Obviously,
Yeah. I never saw that coming.
yeah,
I know there's injuries, but
right. Cleveland over the Colts. not really surprised there. Indianapolis is a pretty inconsistent team, and I just am not really trusting Philip Rivers right now. He obviously really struggled in that game. Obviously, a very devastating injury for the Cowboys as they have lost on their quarterback, Dak Prescott, for the season due to a like fractured ankle, which that was very hard to watch. Just you could just very very unfortunate sighting there. And with the Seahawks, they barely scraped by on Sunday Night Football against the Vikings, which they really didn't have any business winning that game, but they pulled out just because like Russell Wilson is just really damn good.
God
And
amongst men.
yep. And damn, Tennessee just laid the smackdown on the Buffalo Bills. On
Yeah,
Tuesday.
I didn't see that coming.
Like, like, I mean, like, first of all, Buffalo just could not get anything going on offense, and they just could not stop Tennessee. We're just constantly just grinding them out, and that was pretty much it. So, and then obviously, New Orleans defeated the Chargers, who lose yet another close game, who are now 1-4. You got to think that possibly Anthony Lynn, their head coach, has to be on the hot seat because they really should have at least 2, 3, or maybe even like 4 wins here, just because I believe every single one of their losses have been by like single digits. So yeah, that should wrap up all the NFL talk here. Oh yeah, one last thing. Did you catch Tennessee trying to like talk a really big game and say, oh, everyone hates us. This is a battle cry because people were being so pissed at them for not following the freaking rules like every other team has with the COVID. Um, I'm just like, well, guys, people wouldn't be pissed at you if you guys, follow the freaking rules like everyone else does.
And that's not something that they take pride in.
No, it's like they were taking pride in basically screwing everything up and causing the NFL headaches. Like, how many games have they had to like freaking move because of their stupidity? So it's but
Yeah.
so yeah, that was the NFL talk here, and now Matt, let's get into some baseball. So what have your impressions been of the championship series? I believe that like Houston, or they're currently up 4-2 in Game 3 here, and the LA Dodgers.
Game four.
Oh,
Tampa Bay's going for the sweep tonight.
That's right. I completely forgot about that. Yeah, Tampa Bay is going for the sweep, and the LA Dodgers they finally arose from the dead and just
They realized they were the Dodgers and they can score runs.
Yeah. So they put a 15 spot on Atlanta. So
11 run first inning.
11 run first inning,
I believe.
And so
Let me
Atlanta,
double check.
right? And Atlanta is currently up 2-1 in the series, and as we said, Houston is fighting for their lives in bottom of the 7th here. I mean, like right now, I mean, like the teams who are currently are winning these series are kind of the teams who I hope are going to eventually.
Yeah, and just for reference for everybody, if you don't know, we're recording this podcast on Wednesday, so by the time you're listening to this, these series may be over.
A good chance.
So a good chance. I'm convinced. Like Tampa Bay, is just freaking rolling. Everything's clicking for them to go up 3-0.
Starting pitching and their bullpen has just been insane.
Right.
The whole entire
They're getting
postseason.
timely hits from people. Atlanta is just
A very
impressing
hot
me.
team. They're
Yeah.
a very hot team right now. Like, um,
Even though they got smacked tonight,
yeah.
I I still think they pull it out.
Mhm.
Maybe Dodgers make it close,
Mhm.
but who's pitching tomorrow? Let me see. Um,
Because I
they
believe
don't.
that,
They
yeah,
don't have Dodgers don't have it out yet.
yeah, because I
Bryce Wilson.
believe, because didn't Kershaw pitch in Game 3, right?
Oh, hang on.
Or
I
it
didn't.
was
I don't think it. No, I think it was Urias.
okay.
He might
Then
be pitching tomorrow.
yeah, because I think I read somewhere that he was going in Game 4, so I believe that it's Kershaw
It's
going in Game 4.
tomorrow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's going to be a very
It's,
pivotal,
yes.
game, and to me, a like must win there. If
Yeah.
LA loses Game 4, this thing is essentially over.
Yeah. It depends on what Kershaw is there. Do we get the normal? Uh,
Regular season Kershaw, or do we
get the playoff Kershaw that
who
more times than not, yeah, it's
is
just smacked.
a choke artist. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. I'm very interested to see if LA can make this more of a series. Also interested if Tampa Bay, if they can not embrace their inner LA Dodgers and and make this closer. So we will definitely be looking into that. And what and also, Matt, we've had some Spider-Man news. Did we not?
Oh, we do. We
Yeah.
got some hot rumors that came. We've been hearing about this rumbling for a little bit now, but there were some more rumors that both Garfield and oh my God, who's the other one?
Toby Maguire,
McGuire. Thank you. Oh my God,
Mhm.
drawing blank. Have
Andrew
possibly
Garfield, Andrew Garfield, and Toby
yeah, Garfield
Maguire.
and McGuire
Mhm.
possibly sign on for Spider-Man 3, and including Doctor Strange and Jamie Foxx's Electro,
Mhm. Yeah,
and
awesome.
possibly starting or how it plays out, who knows? But getting the Spider Verse, maybe somebody plays Miles Morales, depending what they do, and in some form or fashion in the next Spider-Man movie, which
Mhm.
scheduled for that was it next year?
I think so, but I
It might
think
get pushed back.
I would imagine that's probably
Yeah,
is getting pushed back.
if they're signing on now,
Mhm.
I don't see why how they would get this done
Yeah.
unless it's a not a major part.
Mhm.
So I don't know if it's filming now or has filmed.
Yeah,
Um,
I feel like if you are bringing on both Andrew and Toby here, they need to have a vital part in this film here. Like, because if you have watched any of the animated series, those are some really fun stories there. I am really excited about this. And I mean, it was pretty clear though that once like Captain America and Iron Man were kind of going away, that they were going to be getting behind Spider-Man, because to me that's pretty much is the current face right now of the MCU. Obviously, with like those two gone, I I'm not sure how much longer that Chris Hemsworth is going to be doing as Thor. I've heard some rumors that possibly he could be finishing up um, after Guardians, and maybe maybe like one more Thor film. So So they're going to need to get behind someone, and to me, I don't think there's any better person. Hell, when you have when you have when you have Tony Stark pretty much taking Peter under
Oh, yeah,
his wing there. I mean, hell, like that's I think the only logical way to go there.
yeah.
So very
So,
interested to see how all of this goes here.
yeah, so apparently they're starting filming in Queens on the 16th. So as we hearing this a couple
Mhm.
days ago,
Yeah,
or
I think.
yeah,
I mean,
or Friday.
I gotta think that probably early 2022. Then is probably when this
Yeah, because
comes
they
out.
already pushed it back from the initial release to it pushed it back twice, November 5th to 21, and then now uh December 17th of 21.
Okay,
So that's
fingers
I
crossed.
don't
Fingers
yeah,
crossed.
I
It
don't know
stays there.
like the crunch it takes to make a film, um, and what they need to do. Obviously, at least with like this film,
I feel like it's going. I mean, like you would assume that it's going to take some time, and that's kind of how I'm feeling
yeah.
as
So
well
I'm
there.
just going through like the fandom wiki and just seeing all these news
Mhm. Right.
stuff. Yeah. So I think it was originally released when Sony and Disney announced in July 16th of 21. So
Right.
so there. Yeah, so the just a refresh on that deal, that whole rumor stuff, back from August 20th of last year when we thought that partnership was severed, and then it was announced on the 27th of September that they had an agreement. Kevin Feige was be a producer again,
Right.
and then Marvel and Disney would receive roughly 25% of the profits in exchange for putting up roughly a quarter of the financing, or else retaining all merchandising rights. So they get 25% of the profits. We're paying up 25%. So I don't know if that evens out. I don't, that probably doesn't even out, but they get the merchandising rights and get that money. Um, and then a part of that deal, Spider-Man would also appear in one future Marvel Studios film, which I believe it's an addition to. I think in addition to that,
Mm-hmm.
because apparently I totally didn't know here, or totally forgot that in 16, Sony and Marvel announced they were making more Spider-Man movies after Spider-Man: Homecoming. Like I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
this was
Yeah. After
in it
they
for a
were
while.
yeah after they were like threatening to like pull out, which that pissed a hell of a lot of people off. But then they realized, aha, we would be losing out on too much money by backing out of this thing. So
Yeah. So yeah. So we're finishing up the trilogy. Yeah, there because they agreed for 3 films.
mhm.
So that's usually how these films go. There's usually 3 films. Look,
Mhm.
Iron Man, look at Captain America.
Um,
Um,
and then you would probably think within a few years we'll probably get another Avengers film. So
yeah, a new look of it. Yeah, I would something, the tie, the like they did a transition from phases.
it maybe that would be a good way to bring in the Fantastic Four, X Men, as they are now part of the
Just imagine
MC,
like
MCU
I
now.
like imagine when they eventually get on screen like in an MCU movie and not a Sony made
Oh
movie,
god, it's
and
gonna be
just
all.
the anticipation on the early reviews of people wanting, especially Fantastic Four,
That's
how they're portrayed or who portrays them, and how like I'm totally
can't
have
possibly be
confidence.
can't possibly be any worse than what they were over
Yeah,
at like Fox or Sony or wherever that they were from. So So yeah, that's all going to be very interesting. Hopefully, we'll get some more MCU stuff to eventually talk about here, and some DC as well, as they are also going to be filming some TV shows, because and so like for the next few months we obviously have season 2 of the uh, like Mandalorian. I believe that all of the MCU shows have been pushed to 2021, if a memory serves, because Captain America and Winter Soldier, that was supposed to be a few months ago. Obviously, with COVID, that got pushed back. One Division, I
Let
want to
me
say,
see. 'Cause that's probably the closest because we've been
right,
had trailers.
yeah,
Let me look that up.
yeah. What's that right now?
Where's this article? September 24th. Okay, so this is somewhat recent. Um, it's this article from Collider still says December 2020.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
it's
and
six episodes.
yeah, and
Um,
that's what I'm seeing here. Let's
yeah, and Feige says this series leads directly into the film sequel Doctor Strange in the multiverse of madness. Um, so yeah, so this is leading into stuff there. This says Falcon and the Winter Soldier early 2021. So if you really think about it, I mean, this year is flying by, but
mhm.
so really not that long, like far away. If you really think about it, when we get the weeks go by, when we get the Mandalorian going, and then once WandaVision starts up, if December, hopefully stuff just keeps rolling because this still has Loki at early 2021 too. And you get What If mid 2021. There's 23 episodes of that. That's cool.
Yeah,
So these are kind of short series. It says episodes of like 6 for Falcon and Winter Soldier and 6 for Loki, but it doesn't say it doesn't say how long. I would assume like
those I
maybe
would,
an hour, close
yeah,
to.
I would hope those are longer episodes if they're only do 6, but
Yeah,
we
the probably.
yeah, but we shall see how all of that transpires. So, with that being said, that will probably cap off this week's podcast here, Matt.
Yeah.
So yeah, guys, we are planning on doing a like wrestling live stream on Saturday night sometime.
Or
Just
tonight, yeah, sometime
or
tonight.
yes, sometime tonight when this podcast drops here. We're not exactly sure about the time yet. We'll just stay tuned on our social media. We're gonna be talking about the WWE draft. Lana's hilarious,
I'm all for it. I
hilarious.
am. It's so bad, it's good.
Um, we're gonna be talking about that, recapping all of like major moves. Also gonna be talking about NXT, A E AEW Dynamite, and also SmackDown. Just so pretty much are just going to be covering everything this week.
Hmm.
As and we are hoping to consistently do this every single week.
I'll
Yeah.
be. I'm gonna be. I'm. I'm gonna be better next week. Let me tell you, my schedule is only one game I have to work, and
Sweet.
that's a Tuesday.
So yeah, guys. As always, comment, subscribe, like this video, and follow us on our Twitter. We are there for every for all wrestling. And as you guys saw, I was tweeting during Bellator for the Chris Cyborg fight. So and, and also and also I will be tweeting live during the like FC fight night between Ortega versus the Korean Zombie. So yeah, guys. For Matt and for John, thank you for tuning in, and we shall see you on Saturday night or tonight, to be more specific.
Yeah, whatever.
Have a good day.